We are live. Greetings, everyone. It's your regular host, Dr. Edmond Ikeh. I bring you warm greetings right here in Jefferson City, Missouri. And this is Nigerian Constitution and Your Right. Nigerian Constitution, Know Your Right is a show, a program powered every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Nigerian time, 3 p.m. U.S. Central Time, 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time by the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria. It's a show we hold to educate our fellow compatriots, our fellow Nigerians about the content of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. So, welcome to the show. As you're joining the show, I want you to take a few moments and like anywhere you're watching from, because we do stream on multiple platforms, which include YouTube, two YouTube channels. That's my YouTube channel, Dr. Edmond Ikeh, and the YouTube channel of the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria. And then we also stream on Twitter and on Facebook. So wherever you're watching from, just like and share so that we can have more Nigerians watching and learning about the Constitution and what it's contained therein. Because it's important to know your rights so that you can be empowered to fight for your rights. It's important to know your rights so that you are empowered to fight for your rights. And it's important to know the content of the Constitution, to know the workings of the government, so that you can know what the president's supposed to do, what the governor's supposed to do, what the House of Rep members are supposed to do, so that you can hold them accountable when they don't do their job. So they can know what the local government chairman is supposed to do, so they can hold he or she accountable when the job is not done. And you can, so that is why it's important for you to join us every Tuesday as we keep dissecting different sections of the Constitution. And today's topic, as you can see on the screen, says public order and public security. Public order and public security. And what is public order? What is public security? And why are we talking about it today? We're talking about it today because it's part of the provision of our Constitution, specifically Section 11. Section 11 of the Constitution. Okay? I'll take a quick message, literally from all the comments. So please, if you have any comment, you can say hello, you can say hi, you can say where you're listening from, whatever you want to say. You can ask questions, you can join the conversation and let us have an interaction. Okay? And my first comment here is from Rita English. Says, hi everyone, trust we are doing well today. Yes, Rita, we are doing well today. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Thank you for joining in today's program. And I hope you're going to stay through the end of the program. And I hope you ask more questions concerning the topic public order and public security. And you can always email us or reach out to us at rights.gcsdn@gmail.com, and the website of Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria, which is the organization that powers the show every Tuesday. Their website is gcsdn.org. So you can visit our website to learn what GCSDN stands for, what they do, how they are fighting for democracy in Nigeria, how they are fighting for enthronement of security of all parts of Nigeria, and other human rights activities they have engaged in, and in the through their various chapters all over the diaspora and also within some states in Nigeria. Okay, public order. So I think I will, without further ado, I will just jump into reading the Constitution step by step. So today we're focusing on Section 11. Section 11 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, and that is where we talk about public order and public security. It said the National Assembly may make laws for the Federation or any part thereof with respect to maintenance and securing of public safety, public order, and providing maintenance and securing of such supplies and services as may be designed by the National Assembly as essential supplies and services. So you see, who has the power to make law about secure Nigeria? It is the National Assembly. That is the body or the arm of government that is saddled with the responsibility of making the right laws to secure our country. So, like, for instance, when Boko Haram was ravaging the Northeast, it was the responsibility of the National Assembly to make laws and how to secure that region and also to approve the fundings to secure the military equipment that is needed to prosecute that war. And so that is the work of the National Assembly. And have they been doing it well? Has the National Assembly been doing that job very well? That is questionable. I personally don't think so. I don't know what you think. If you want to share your own view that's different from mine, you can comment in the comment section. So it is a responsibility of the National Assembly on who are the National Assembly. The National Assembly is bicameral in Nigeria. What do I mean by bicameral? It means we have House of Representatives and we have the Senate. So these are the two arms of the National Assembly, or the two houses of the National Assembly that is saddled with the responsibility of making laws for our country to secure our public space and to ensure the security of every life within Nigeria. Okay? And then the subsection 2 says, nothing in this section shall preclude a House of Assembly from making laws with respect to matter referred to in this section, including the provision for maintenance and securing of such supplies and services as may be designated by the National Assembly as essential supplies and services. So during any period when the Federation is at war, the National Assembly may make such law for peace, order, good government of the Federation or any part thereof with respect to matters not included in the exclusive legislative list as may appear to it to be necessary or expedient for defense of the Federation. So you see, when there is war in Nigeria, which we are at war, different war theaters, like in the Northeast and some part of the North Central and some part of the Northwest and some part of Southeast, as it were. So it is the responsibility of the National Assembly to make laws to ensure that we restore peace to the country. So the question now, is the National Assembly doing that? Is the National Assembly making laws to restore peace within the country? We have been at war in the Northeast for over a decade. You know what? A decade is 10 years. So there have been theater of wars for over 10 years in Nigeria. And what have the lawmakers, the National Assembly, done to ensure that our peace is restored? See, they're supposed to sign budget. The National Assembly is supposed to sign budget to approve buying military hardware. And if you are a Nigerian paying attention to the happening of Nigeria, I'm sure you have heard or you have come across videos or even national newspaper articles that some military personnel have come out and said that they do not have enough military gear. They did not have enough ammunition. They didn't have enough equipment to fight the war. So if those who are on ground, who are supposed to be the kinetic to fight the war, are not equipped, and it is the responsibility of the National Assembly to sign those budgets, to sign those into law, to get them the necessary equipment to prosecute the law, would you say that the National Assembly are doing their job? And in some situations, you've seen that have passed some budget to buy the equipment, but that budget is inflated. Like it's like balloon budget. The budget is so big, it does not mirror what they actually need to buy. So what do we say about that? So you see, that is the purpose of this program, so that you can see that this is what this arm of government is supposed to do. Then it's left for me to analyze, are they actually doing that? If they are not doing that, then it's your responsibility as a good citizen of Nigeria to ensure that such persons do not return into power. Such persons do not return into the National Assembly. You know, another big problem, which I hope this program will address, is that Nigerians do not engage actively enough in electing their National Assembly members, that is the senators and your House of Representatives. They only focus on mostly maybe the presidential election, number one focus, and then the governorship election, number two focus. They forget to focus on the lawmakers. They are supposed to be elected. If you watch the votes, the number of votes that bring lawmakers into power, it is very, very few votes. Very few votes. Why is that? Because Nigerians have forsaken their civic responsibility of coming out to vote and voting for the leaders that they want. So if you don't come out to vote for the leader that you want, that means you have you're left, or you have shortchanged yourself to get a leader that you don't want. The leader that is not going to do your biddings, that is not going to ensure that you are a priority, because you did not vote for that leader. So you are not a priority. If you remember, when Buhari came to power in 2015, he said that he will not pay attention to that 5% that did not vote for him. See? So that means he only care about who that vote for him. But as it is, it doesn't even matter, because Buhari does not care about anybody. All the policies he has made does not benefit the common or the ordinary Nigerian. So basically, the only people that benefit from the policies of the Buhari regime are the politicians or the elites. So that is by the way. Let's continue reading. Subsection 4 says, at any time when any House of Assembly of a state is unable to perform its function by reason of situation prevailing in the state, the National Assembly may make such laws for peace, order, good government of that state with respect to the matters which the House of Assembly may make laws as may appear to the National Assembly to be necessary or expedient until such a time the House of Assembly is able to resume its function, and any such law enacted by the National Assembly pursuant to this section shall have effect as if they were laws enacted by the House of Assembly of the state, provided that nothing in this section shall be construed as conferring on the National Assembly powers to remove the governor or deputy governor from the office. I hope you got that. Okay? Okay. So let me explain that. Let's break that down. That's subsection 4 of section 11. It's saying that, okay, maybe for the layman out there who don't understand, which is the point of this program, to try to break down the law so that people can understand it better. So we've talked about what the National Assembly does. They make the law to secure the country, make the law to make sure there's peace in the country, make the law to ensure there's supplies of goods and services for the people. So that is what they do, the National Assembly, for the whole country. That is because they do this for the whole country. Then now, this subsection 4 is now drawing our attention to the state, because the states are subnationals, or the states is the mini countries within Nigeria. So, and these states, as we all know, are governed by governors. And every state have its lawmaking body. Just like the federal government have a lawmaking body known as National Assembly, the states have a lawmaking body called House of Assembly or State House of Assembly. For example, my home state, Anambra, will have Anambra State House of Assembly. So Anambra State House of Assembly is the lawmaking body of Anambra State specifically. Then Lagos State House of Assembly is going to be the lawmaking body of Lagos State specifically. Katsina House of Assembly is going to be a lawmaking body specifically for Katsina. Then uh, Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly will be the House of Assembly or the lawmaking body specifically for Akwa Ibom State. So that is how it goes. So this subsection 4 is now telling us that when any state, for example, if Anambra State House of Assembly is unable to meet to make a law to secure Anambra, to bring peace to Anambra, or to make any law for Anambra State, if the Anambra State House of Assembly is not able to meet for any reason, maybe there is no peace, there is war, and they could not meet, say the National Assembly, which is the body that is empowered to make law for the whole country, that National Assembly, the senators and the House of Reps, they can make laws for Anambra State. Do you understand that? Usually, Anambra State House of Assembly is the one that have the responsibility to make laws for Anambra State. But now they have there's issues somewhere. There is war. They cannot meet in their chambers. They cannot make laws. So the powers are kind of transferred. You can say temporarily transferred to the National Assembly to make laws for Anambra State, or to make laws for Lagos State, or to make law for Kano, to make law for Sokoto, to make law for Akwa Ibom, or to make law for Kogi State. So temporarily, until such a period whereby the state house of assembly of that particular state is able to meet and make laws for themselves. So that is that. And so that is one thing. And it says that even though the National Assembly can make law for a state at that moment, because the state house of assembly cannot meet, that the power of the National Assembly to make laws to the state is limited in a way. And what is that limitation? The limitation is that the National Assembly cannot remove the governor of that state or the deputy governor of that state, but the House of Assembly of that state can do that. They can impeach their governor, they can impeach. But however, when the National Assembly takes over the job of the House of Assembly of a state, when the House of Assembly of that state cannot meet, the National Assembly cannot impeach that governor. They cannot impeach the governor. They cannot impeach the deputy. That is the limitation of their power in this temporal period. Okay, so that's what it's saying. What I is saying. I think my guess. I have a guess. I'll add the guest to the stream. Hello, UC Masqua. Welcome to the show, Nigerian Constitution. And you're right, we're happy to have you today. I think this is your second time appearing as a guest. Can you unmute yourself and turn on your video and introduce yourself to the audience and as to carry on with the show?
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A pleasure once again to be here.
Well, it's good to have you here today. And how are you doing tonight?
A great day. For coming out here later engaged in some pressing matters. Done, but I may not be able to join with. It will just be my voice for tonight. Thank you.
Oh, that's That's okay. That's okay. So let's. I'm just gonna ask you a few questions because I'm about to wrap up. We'll have about 10 more minutes to wrap up today's show because we're gonna stick to a 30 minutes program today. So thank you for joining us. I know it's not easy with the hectic schedule. So we are always happy if a guest can just give us a few minutes of their time. And today we've been talking about um, public order and public security as is entailed or as is described by Section 11 of the Constitution. So I've been going through the subsections of that Section 11, and I just finished subsection 4. Um, so, what do you think, UC Maxwell? What do you think is the reason why the National Assembly are not allowed to impeach the governor or a deputy governor when they take over the responsibility of the state house of assembly when that state house of assembly is not able to meet? Why? What is the wisdom behind that law or that subsection?
Okay, thank you very much.
Mm.
Background generally talks about the sake of seek provide for proper safety, maintenance of a state or the Federation of Nigeria. Now to on section 11 subsection 4, it's it is it's the constitution. A state may have been overrun by non-state actors, bandits, or whatever the case may be. Probably we have the Boko Haram prevalent in some states. They could overrun the duties or thereby stopping them from carrying out their constitutional functions. That where this becomes prevalent, and now carry out the functions of the state house of assembly. In carrying out this function, the constitution tries as much as possible not to contradict itself. Recall that we discussed on the criteria, the impeach a state governor, and this is enshrined in the constitution. And within the provisions of this constitution, it provides that only the state house of assembly, it was house of assembly can initiate a procedure, probably sickness, unsoundness of mind, being a lunatic, misconduct, which are the lettered words of the constitution. A state house of starts the procedures to impeach. So you find out that if this section allows assembly to do that, it would be a contradiction. Provide for really looking into the security, maintenance, and orderliness of states or any territory within Nigeria.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I hope you guys heard what UC Maxwell explained. Uh, the law, the same constitution, 1999 as amended, have already empowered the state house of assembly. If you remember earlier in the show, I explained that just like we have a national assembly that makes law for the entire country, we also have state house of assembly for each of the 36 states that makes law for the specific state we're talking about. So, and the constitution have empowered the state house assembly with certain responsibilities and certain functions. And part of that is that they are the only one that have the power to impeach the governor of their state. No other body can do that, not the National Assembly. And that is what is reflective in this section 11 or subsection 4, reminding us that even though that the National Assembly can take over the role of the State House of Assembly when the State House of Assembly cannot do so, that the National Assembly cannot impeach the governor or the deputy governor, because that is the exclusive right of the National Assembly. So even though they are taking over that function of the National Assembly, there is an exemption, and this is the exemption. That is what that is about, and UC Maxwell have done a good job explaining that to us. So, and you mentioned UC Maxwell, you mentioned that that you give example of situation whereby the State House Assembly cannot do its function, like when the state is overrun, like due to banditry or some terrorism and so forth and so on and so forth. So, if that is the case, and the National Assembly takes over the function of what the State House Assembly is supposed to do you think that the National Assembly can actually make the appropriate laws for that state, considering this National Assembly members are usually in Abuja, which is a little bit far away from most state, and Abuja is not Kogi State. I mean, Kogi State is close to Abuja. Let's not use Kogi State. Abuja is not Sokoto, for example. Abuja is not Ogun State. So, do you think, given the National Assembly the right to take over temporarily the role of a State House Assembly, do you think it's wise and they're going to make the right laws for that state? What do you think? What's your opinion on that?
More critically, we must a possibility that exists in law, proper duties which are conferred on carried out, and that is why duties and other things. And to critically answer your question, the matter of the knowledge of the prevalent situation of the state, but it is for the want of the legislative arm. So you have function in a state. Remember that the state has the same setting, the same governance setting as the federal has. It's equivalent to the president. It has the legislature, which is also, and several other functions of government within the state. So, legislative function. That is why the Constitution provides for this. Because the State House of Assembly does not opportunity or does not have the wherewithal. They have to come in so that there won't be a gap. And I think every lawmaker should know that also affects the state. So when you come to make that it relates to the states. Subsection 3 of section 11, which make laws which are not related to the exclusive list where states or the nation, but there is the law tries to fill up that gap. So that is where the state cannot fulfill it, the federal legislature. So that is it.
All right, thank you very much. I think that is that. I'll read the last subsection and then we'll wrap up today's program. The last subsection is, you make reference of the previous. Say, for the purpose of subsection 4 of this section, a house of assembly shall not be deemed to be unable to perform its function so long as the House of Assembly can hold a meeting and transact business. So what that is saying is, yes, we said that the National Assembly can take over the House of Assembly function if the House of Assembly cannot do so. And now this subsection 5 is now giving us more details, telling us that, okay, you cannot say a House of Assembly is unable to perform its function when they can meet. So as long as the House of Assembly, as long as Kogi State House of Assembly can meet somewhere, whether it's not in their regular meeting place, if they can meet in one room, one backyard, and transact their business, if they can do so, then they can still perform their duties. But if they cannot do so, that is the only time that the National Assembly can take over their duties. So that is what that subsection is saying. You see, Maxwell, did I say that correctly? Because you have more legal mind than I do. What do you think about my explanation? Or if you have one or two things to add to that explanation, please do so that the audience can, and then my fellow Nigerians can be better educated on what the law says. You see, Maxwell, are you there? Network issue. I think we lost him for a moment. Okay, he's back.
Okay, can you hear?
You see, Maxwell. Do you have
Can
anything
you hear
to add?
me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Do you have anything to add to that?
Okay.
To that
You did
explanation?
for submission. The only say a state house of assembly cannot act is out, transact their normal business,
All right.
transact the business.
All right. Thank you very much. So you have 1 minute to give a closing remark. What do you want Nigerians to take away from this section 11 of the Nigerian Constitution? What is the takeaway message to Nigerians?
Okay, very quickly, I must say that states must come into the play and take a look at the constitutional provisions. We have been bedeviled by several issues within Nigeria, both in the north and the west and the south and in the east. And you would see that there have been a lot of clamor and cry for state policing. This particular talks about the public order and public security, basically. So the states have been given a role to play to make sure that state house of assemblies cater for the maintenance of security and safety within their states. So states must begin to play this role, whatever it is, by whatever means that they can do that. So if and there, like I said on some time ago where I was speaking, there is a fifth amendment which is before the National Assembly seeking to include state policing into the 1999 constitution. So these are things that are very, very instrumental to see that states of Nigeria are being secured, and state governors have a degree of control of security apparatus to further secure their states. So I encourage every citizen to as well clamor for state police. It is very, very important, and I hope that other states sign this particular bill and make sure that it comes into play.
Thank you very much for that wonderful closing remark, UC Maxwell. I really appreciate your time coming in today to join the conversation. Quite unfortunately, you were not able to do video. Hopefully next week, if you commit your time next week, we'll follow the conversation and I think section 12. So yeah, and hopefully if that is possible, we'd like to have you again and we'll continue the conversation. Thank you very much for your time. And fellow Nigerians, please, yeah, thank you. Yeah. So Nigerians, please, take it as your civic duty to know what the law says. Come here every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Nigerian, and to listen and learn one or two things to empower you to become a better citizen. Be a better citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and make sure you promote things that matters to you, like state policing, as UC Maxwell stated. So we nudge our lawmakers that, okay, this is what we want. This is what is going to make sure our areas are more secure. You push for these things because and your lawmakers have to listen to you. And if you don't say anything, there's nothing for them to hear. They just come up with things from their figment of imagination, and they may come up with the wrong things. So you have to speak up so that they can do it. Then when you speak up, if they don't do it, then that means you're responsible to also make sure you get rid of them and get the right people who are going to get the job done. So please become more responsible citizen, and let's continue to build a better country that will call our own, that will be happy to live in, and we're happy to raise our children in. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see you again next Tuesday, same place, same channel, 9 p.m. Nigerian time. Thank you once again, and you guys have a wonderful week ahead and a weekend coming. All right, this is where I leave you.